Hello everybody, this is Wolfgang von Latman Lozana, that's my entire name, from chaliceofimmortality.com. And here in this video today, I'm just going to have a general discussion while I drink my delicious yerba mate that I am brewing up in this bastardized tea brewing concoction here that my friends had bought me for my birthday a couple years ago. I know, it's not a French press, and it's not a gourd, but it's delicious nonetheless. Anyway, and it is the Echo Teas yerba mate, by the way, the pure leaf, because it gives me a mental stimulation like I haven't gotten from any other mate. So anyway, basically what I'm going to talk about here is essentially why you should not believe anything at face value. So it's just kind of like I was working out in the gym earlier, and it just kind of hit me. It just kind of came up out of nowhere. I've been getting, I get like stupid comments quite often on old videos. Videos that are floating around in YouTube land. A lot of which are going viral and whatnot. They're getting a lot of views and a lot of exposure. And the more exposure I get, the more likely I am to get the occasional stupid negative comment here and there. Most of my comments are rather positive, and I appreciate the feedback. It makes me happy to know that I'm helping so many people, but occasionally I get dumb comments like, where's your credentials? None of the things you say is based on science, not a single peer-reviewed study, blah, blah, blah. I find these comments retarded, or where's your credentials, where's your degree, where did you study, and this and that. And there's a reason why I find these comments just stupid, and I'll explain here in a second. Basically, you should take everything with a grain of salt, okay, first and foremost. Information is a tool. Science is a tool, okay? Even a medical degree is a tool. And a medical degree has nothing to do with a lot of the topics that I talk about here, nutrition and such. A medical degree has everything to do with prescribing medications, prescribing surgery, diagnosing illnesses, and knowing the biology of medications. I have no interest in prescribing medications or doing surgery or anything like that. If I really wanted to be a medical doctor, you can best believe I would have pursued a medical degree. But I actually considered that for a while, and I realized medical doctors are not nutritionists. They're not professional healers or whatever. They're not trying to heal diseases. They're there to help you treat your symptoms. They want to diagnose your illness. They want to try to help you relieve the symptoms using drugs and surgery and sometimes lifestyle changes. But the whole medical degree thing has nothing to do with what I do, so why the fuck would I get a medical degree? That just shows how ignorant the person really is. It shows that they don't even know what the fuck they're saying. And I don't care what people think. For some reason though, I get upset at other people's ignorance. I don't know why. I'm trying to solve this issue because literally the most stressful thing in my life is seeing dogma, ignorance, or just a lack of rational thought. Essentially irrationality, which is also kind of a bunch of knots I have to untie in my head because basically people think any viewpoint that they disagree with is stupid, okay? It's the ego, it's the way the human mind works. It can be very hard for you to really honestly judge somebody as irrational or rational simply because of the confirmation bias aspect. Anybody who doesn't believe in your belief system is going to seem stupid to you. So I don't really know. I think that's a little, I don't know how productive it would be to really contemplate that. But when I see these comments, I find them very ignorant, and that's the only thing that would really upset me. But there's nothing I can really do to change these people's viewpoints. I can't tell them, like, I can't help them think properly. That's just something they've got to do on their own. Part of the problem with not thinking properly is when somebody is offering you a rational perspective, you're not mentally capable of understanding or even attempting to decipher the logic behind what that person is saying. You're so concerned with, imposing your own views, your own ignorance, that you can't even enlighten yourself. You can't even seek first to understand rather than to be understood. It's a principle from Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, if you've never read that book before. Anyway, so that whole medical degree thing is retarded. Then I also get these other comments. People basically, they have trouble keeping up with my points, and occasionally occasionally get the critic that says I just go on and on and on forever, or I don't make sense, or I sound crazy or paranoid or something, or I'm just going on and not getting to the point or something of that nature. And on one side of the spectrum, I can totally see what they're saying, for sure, because I'm very detailed, I'm very contemplative, and my mind isn't linear. My mind isn't just like simple surface level. It's not just like point A to point B. My mind is like a tree with a ton of branches. I see the main idea, but my brain explores like all these other paths on its way to the main idea. And so it's a good thing because I'm able to offer an extremely detailed, deep, accurate, specific, and I suppose open perspective on the main idea, which a lot of people enjoy and love. And I always get people telling me how they enjoy my rawness, and they enjoy my bluntness, and they enjoy my delivery, and they like to listen to the things I have to say, and they like the way that I present my information. I get that a lot. Most of the people that watch my channel obviously enjoy my content, because why would you watch my fucking content if you thought I just was wasting your time? Or why would you watch my content if you thought I was going on and on forever? And why would you comment to let me know this unless you want me to improve, or that's just a habit you have to, nitpick at little things and, tell everybody all the things you don't like about them. I don't really know. I assume they're trying to help me out or whatever, but usually that doesn't seem to be the case upon further examination. But saying that I just go on and never get to the point, my mother used to tell me that, and it used to affect me, and it would limit me. It would hinder me, because I thought I was crazy, because I was constantly told, like, oh, you just keep talking and whatever. But eventually, I grew up, I became, I started to see who I am. I started to see how my mind works, and I started to realize that it's actually not a bad thing. It's actually a fucking gift, so to speak. I feel like everybody has a unique gift, usually multiple unique gifts that they can give to the world. And a big reason why they don't is because they let other people's criticism kind of like suppress their gift and shut it out. Instead of being confident in the natural talents you have, you begin to doubt yourself and doubt your abilities, and what could have been massive success never actually has a chance to blossom or manifest itself into success. Instead, it's kind of just shut away and locked dormant, usually for the person's entire life, which is very sad. And for some people like me, they're fortunate enough to do deep meditation and contemplation work and reflection for long periods of time, to be able to discover what exactly is your purpose, your natural talents, and how can I actually enrich the lives of other people. So I suppose it's very different for me because I understand that the way I see the world and the things I've been able to do for my own self-love is very uncommon. Most people are not able to achieve this because they're just so hurt and they're always running away from their pain. And because they never address the tears inside, they never address the insecurities they have or the doubts, they're never able to hear their autopilot thoughts, and they're never able to examine why do they react to people the way they do. Like criticisms, whenever people tell you things that hurt you, why don't you examine that? Most people aren't able to, but I have been. And now through examination, I learned this about myself a while ago, like years ago. And this is one of the main reasons why I make videos, because I know that I have a unique perspective and I have a unique delivery, and I know that people appreciate it. I understand something that I like to call the law of exchange. Basically, I want to share my knowledge, share my information with other people in hopes that they can take some of it, not all of it, but some of it, and apply it to themselves and kind of like create their own ideas from it, right? But allow it to help them in some way. These ideas are like seeds, and they can plant themselves into beautiful trees that can create success and happiness in other people's life. And I'm fine if people don't like my information, because I don't care. What I care about is that I'm helping people, just in general, in some way, shape, or form. But the most important thing is, when you like these people who say like, oh, you go on and on and on and don't get to the point, like, or like that could be constructive criticism, and I could use an outline to help me make sense, right? I could definitely do that. That could be beneficial, but I think a lot of the times it's not to help the person. It's not an attempt to help the person. A lot of times it's some kind of projection of their own insecurities. They're scared of creating videos and putting themselves out there like I do, and so they critique me for it because they would expect those same doubts and critiques to go on in their heads if they were to do these videos. And even further is like they don't understand, like, hey, if you like the video, watch the videos you like, right? Focus on what you want. Don't focus on what you don't want. If you don't like something, why are you going to spend hours and hours like thinking about it, commenting on it, watching it? It doesn't make sense. Same thing with these people who, like, oh, you don't have a medical degree and shit. Like, yeah, I don't pretend to be a doctor. I don't want to pretend to be one. And I don't want for people to, just recklessly take my advice and do things because they think I know everything, because I don't know everything. And it hurts me to kind of like, I don't want to come off as that. I don't want to come off as a know-it-all or something. It's counterproductive for you to just believe everything somebody says. That's how you get people who promote like very extreme diets, like vegetarianism, for example. And then people stick to these extreme diets for long periods of time, and they start to die from it, not because it's doing good for them, but because, they believed in something without having any logical basis for it. And then like it starts to be destructive, and they don't have the logic, the rational capabilities to sit down and reflect on like, holy fuck, what is this doing to me? What I'm saying is like, try the information, research the information. You're supposed to be taking like information from multiple sources on both sides of the paradigms, right? Like modern medicine versus holistic medicine. Listen to what all of them have to say, and don't just learn from one source. You know, like there's kooks out there who are like snake oil salesmen, like you know, someone who I used to like, David Wolf, I think is his name. And I used to like his videos, but he's definitely become like a supplement salesman guy, and he's fat anyway. You know, don't listen to these people. Like, if they're not showing, if they're not a good example of their beliefs, if they don't look healthy, if they're always sick, but yet they always try to talk about health, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, you know? You've got to reflect on these things. You got to use critical thinking and listen to multiple sources. If somebody's full of shit, like, just don't waste your time. Like, seriously. Like, legitimately speaking, if I had some kind of, like, extremely noticeable mental impairment where I'm just like, duh, like, and I'm not making fun of anyone, but let's just say that I was, like, mentally retarded. And once again, I'm not making fun of anybody, but let's just say I was mentally retarded, right? And you could tell from my videos that I'm mentally retarded. Are you really going to sit down there in the comments and say, "Ah, oh, fuck you, motherfucker, you're mentally retarded"? You know, like, I don't know why you're giving health advice, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's literally, I know it doesn't sound like the same thing to you people without rational understanding, but it's a good example. Like, you know, because people act as if I am retarded if they disagree with me. Like, oh, you don't have a medical degree, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, whatever. Even though you don't understand what a medical degree is, let's say I don't have a degree in nutrition or something, right? I don't have a degree in science or whatever. It still isn't that big of a deal because, you know, there's other people out there that do have degrees in nutrition and health and yada yada, and you could follow them if you need that science. If I don't give you science and you want science, go find somebody who has the science that you want, right? It's compatibility. If you're not compatible, I mean, you can tell me whatever you want, but to me, it's like they're making such a huge deal about it. And if I'm coming off as somebody with a mental disease or something, you know, like, oh, he's just going on and on. It's like, okay, go find somebody who you know, reads off of, you know, who steals content, right? Like, go listen to somebody who's not original, who doesn't just kind of like say everything off the top of their head. You know, the other thing is, like, a lot of people, like, they have an outline, they have a script, they've written it down. Most people don't understand what they're talking about, so they're not able to just talk and talk and talk like me. For me, I'm so confident in the things I say because I actually have done the research and I've internalized it. I don't need a fucking outline. I'll use an outline every now and then if it's a controversial and I probably have maybe 10 videos in my entire lifetime that I've done with an outline, maybe 10 videos, tops. But out of all, like, the 500 videos or 200 or however much I recorded, like 99% of all my videos are just freestyle like this. And I can go on about anything without needing to look it up or anything like that. And I'm almost always pretty damn accurate and on point because I research shit. The only reason I record these videos really is because I love science. I love health, research, psychology. I love philosophy. I love all this stuff that I talk about. I love herbs. And, like, for me, I just feel like it would be a waste to just have all this knowledge and then not, like, pass it on to people. Why would I just hold it inside me? That's such a waste. That's just as bad as playing video games. It's like mental masturbation, just reading and shit, reading all these books and all this research and discussing it with my friends, but not you know, doing the very least I can do, helping people, you know, getting all this information to videos so that people don't have to do the research I did, or whatever it is, you know. This is kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's care, it's love, it's value. You know, I would much rather, you know, I have all this information, I'd much rather be giving it to people instead of just, like, being selfish and keeping it to me. In the worst case scenario, you know, I'm sure most of the people that talk shit on my videos, they're probably teenagers who live with their parents, or they probably have just like a regular job and don't really have much going on for themselves, which, by the way, if that's what makes you happy, more power to you. But the point is, like, what kind of value are you giving to people? You know, I see, you know, whenever I see people commenting like that, like, either you're trying to improve me by giving me, like, advice and critiques, which is great, you know, even if what you're saying doesn't make much sense, it's still good if that's your intention. But if you're not trying to help me, then you're trying to, you know, tear me down to build your own self up. Usually these people just have they have too much time on their hands. And they're like commenting on everyone's videos and stuff because they need some kind of entertainment and stimulation. And anger, believe it or not, anger is something that people gravitate towards if they don't focus their mind on something productive. That's literally what happens. Depression and anger, those are going to find you if you just allow your mind to wander and you don't utilize your time in the way that I am. I'm creating videos, sharing my knowledge, sharing what I know and my perspective, because I read so much in my spare time, and now I'm like giving it away. I'm just kind of I'm stacking productivity and value on top of it. That's a great thing. It's a cycle of life and love. That's the way I see it. And I'm so much happier doing this than, like, you know, fucking posting comments and arguing with people online. Like, what kind of person are you? It's crazy. But, you know, information's a damn tool. So, you know, and science is a tool too. Like, dogma and trying to, like, you know, take everything for face value, that's literally the only way I could see somebody actually, like, commenting these types of things, is if they expect they expect the absolute truth from me. The way I see it, I'm as close to it as you can get. But that's because there is no truth. I'm discussing all the information and the probability. But everyone wants, like, oh, the way to never die, like how not to die. Like, you're gonna die one day. Let's just try to prolong life as best as possible, increase the quality of life as much as we can. Anyway, this is Wolfgang von Latman Lizana. That is my real full name. Drinking this delicious yerba mate from my woo-woo, magical, hipster, new age, which is not even new age, it's ancient as fuck, astrological Gemini cup. If you're into astrology, I think you'll find it very fascinating. I'm a triple Gemini. Gemini Sun, Gemini Rising, and Gemini Mercury. And then I'm a Virgo Moon. So kind of, if you watch my videos, you'll probably understand, like, holy fuck, like, astrology, you know, what they say about Gemini, and this guy's a triple Gemini. Fuck, man, listen to this motherfucker talk. Sounds like an extreme Gemini to me, right? But astrology's bullshit, isn't it? That's fine. I mean, I find it crazy that I fucking can talk so much, but Gemini is a sign of communication, and it's governed by the planet Mercury. And since I have a Virgo moon, Virgo is all about critical thinking and organization, motherfuckers. Anyway, gonna drink this mate. See you later.